SPMP サイドストーリーくんねちぷ
Previous overview. They arrived at the river they were aiming for and headed upstream in search of a place to cross the river. On the way, they spot smoke rising above the forest and head to it, but Momu goes to see what is going on by himself. Shalati and I waited for him to come back for a while after Momu went to check on him, but we got worried because he was late coming back, so we started walking in the direction he was going. And then, after a short walk, I found Momu, lying face down on the side of a hill, looking ahead, and I saw smoke ahead. When I called out to him, he turned around in surprise and urged us to be quiet. We paused, lowered our posture and walked to Momu's side, then lay face down to look in the direction he was looking. There were a lot of people making something, and when I looked closely, it was a bow and a spear. Behind them, several people were practicing their bows, and one of them was wearing a small bow on his arm. It's strange. I don't think it makes much sense because such a small bow and arrow can't reach far. Besides, what purpose do they have so many bows and spears ready? If these people are related to bandits, it will be even more dangerous in the future. When I was thinking about this, Momu said, "It's dangerous, let's go back," but for some reason I couldn't leave the place. On the contrary, I was heading to the village. Of course, I went while hiding so that the villagers wouldn't find me, but Momu, who was behind me, kept telling me not to do it. But I really wanted to see what the people in the village were trying to do. We were able to get to the village without anyone seeing us, but Momu and Shalati stood out because they were tall. So I told them to wait at the back of the house, and then I secretly went to look inside the house. When I looked inside the house, there was no one inside. Bows and swords hung on the walls, and many small bows on the floor. The number of bows was so large that I could tell at a glance that it was abnormal. Normally, one house has only 3 bows at most. It's terrifying to think that if that many bows and arrows were aimed at people. At that time, I heard a human voice from the direction of the entrance of the house. I was startled by the voice and tried to hide, but the door of the house opened and a man entered. I could see the figure of the person for a moment before hiding, and I knew who it was at a glance. It was the man who came to Palakodan and the man Susa was looking for. The man had been talking to himself since he entered the house. The man's language is Wajan's language. It's definitely that guy. At least if I can make eye contact with him, I can hear his voice of the heart. The next moment I was thinking about this, I remembered the stone that my sister had left behind. I've never felt a voice from a stone before. Maybe I couldn't do it before, but maybe I can do it now. So I sneaked a peek into the house through the window. I saw a man with a bow and arrow talking to himself. Then, as I was looking at him, I heard a sound. It was the same as when I first met this man. I heard two sounds. I heard a sound. I could hear the sound just by looking at the figure of the man. Concentrated. Then, as I looked at the man with a little concentration, I began to understand the words. I was able to understand the words, but I couldn't understand the meaning because I was speaking Wajan's language so fast. But there is one thing he said that made it clear to me. The man was calling Seuss's name. Does that mean he's going to point that bow and arrow at Sousa? That's no good. I have to hurry up and let Sousa know. I quietly walked back to them and told them that there was a man Sousa was looking for. I asked either Momu or Chalati to go Kodan and let Sousa know about this, and Chalati said, I'm fast, so I'll go. As we were talking, a man's loud voice came from behind us. Found by them. We hurriedly ran towards the forest, and on the way Momu yelled at Chalati to go to Palakodan and we split up. Then Momu and I headed to the river. Today's story ends. The story is updated every Saturday. Please look forward to. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. See you again.